Hey guys, Ricky Widmer here from Most Valuable Podcast. You're about to listen to a little bit of our primetime podcast that we recorded this week. Make sure to go to BlogTalkRadio / Most Valuable Podcast for our full-length podcast that you can go ahead and download. I hope you enjoy it. I know me and Brandon did recording it. We're going to switch the head coaching discussion a little bit because there was some news that broke today that the Minnesota Golden Gophers are going to move on from Tracy Claeys as their head coach. And Brandon, this is a move that, they made the move because of the players and the boycott, and the players wanted the AD to get rid of their coach, and the new AD, and I believe his first or second year, relatively new AD, doesn't want to ruffle feathers right now. What are you taking away from this firing of Tracy Claeys?
I think it's pretty upsetting. I think it's actually really upsetting. I don't think this guy should have lost his job at all. He had Minnesota playing really well, actually, this season. They were competitive. They're a competitive team. And you know what? For how long have we had in the Big Ten, what teams are at the top? It's Michigan, it's Ohio State, and it has been Michigan State in the past, not this past year. Michigan and Ohio State. You finally had a team like Minnesota putting in some pretty good work. And I know that this past season I thought was pretty good. The season before, not that great. But they're going to fire him over something that the players were doing and what the players were protesting. I think this is bad. And Jerry Kill, the longtime head coach there with the Minnesota Golden Gophers, a guy absolutely loved by the Minnesota faithful, comes out and says, quote, won't be stepping back into the university, end quote. When he's coming out and saying that is not good for Minnesota.
Well, and he went on to say, there's a quote here where he says, there's been a lot of talking going on. I'm not going to go any further. I'm just telling you that you don't fire a coach unless you've got somebody that's ready to step in. I've been in the business too long, and I know too many people. Everyone that has come up, I know. And then he went on to say what you said, where he's not stepping in. And this is a situation with Minnesota that really me and you didn't touch. I know that it was a couple weeks ago, the players get suspended. We didn't touch it. Then the players boycotted. We didn't touch the topic. Now we're finally getting to this Minnesota topic, and it's all because it's boiling over. With the boiling over is the firing of their head coach.
And Ricky, back in 2015, I just want to make clear, he only had 6 games under his belt. He went 2-4 in just limited time. Won the bowl game, the Quick Lane Bowl. 2016, 9-4. They win the Holiday Bowl. He's 2-0 in his bowl games. 9-4. In the 6 games that you were coaching in 2015, you lose 4 games. Mm-hmm. In all the games that you were coaching in 2016, 13 games, you only lose 4. Come on. That's ridiculous. You've got a guy who is on his way progressing with this team. I don't understand. I think it's a rash decision. I think it's poor judgment on the side of the athletic director and anyone involved of making this decision at Minnesota. I think it's really pathetic that they do this to a coach taking his squad to the next level. And you're going to then get rid of him again over something that the players were doing? You can agree, you can disagree with what the players were doing. But I don't think that you can disagree with the fact that this is wrong. Them getting rid of the head coach because what? They're going to blame it? They're going to blame it on Tracy Claeys that he should have done something and told them, hey, knock it off, guys. Don't go and protest something that you believe in. Whether or not you like protesting, people can do it. They got a right to do it. And players have a right to do it. Look at what happened at Mizzou. People were protesting, players, students. People were protesting left and right. And finally, the president stepped down. I mean, they were able to protest. Their coach, got behind his players and allowed them to protest. Guess what happened to their coach? He's still there. What's going on here with Minnesota? Makes no sense, Ricky. Makes no sense.
Well, and the one thing I do want to correct myself on, someone's probably already done in the comment section, but Mark Coyle, the AD, I said first or second year. It hasn't even been a year. He was put on as AD in May of 2016. So really, he's had just over half a year. In May coming up this year, it would have been his first year as the AD, and it's exactly what you said. It's a rash decision. It's a rash decision by Coyle. Like, it's one of those things where I agree with Kill 100% when he says you do not do this unless you have somebody lined up. Unless you have someone lined up to take the job, why are you going to do this? Because now you're really kind of putting yourself in a little bit of a hole of now you got to scramble to find someone because, I mean, we're sitting here, what is this, January 4th today? Well, guess what? In less than a month, maybe like a week more than a month, we're going to have National Signing Day. These recruits are going to be deciding whether or not to sign with your school. And that's going to be huge. That is going to be huge. If you don't have a head coach, I mean, I hope they get one by National Signing Day, but if you don't get a head coach by that time, it's going to be, all right, what do we do? Like, I'm not going to go to this school. They don't know what they're doing. And the one thing I'm kind of thinking, and I'm doing a little bit of research just to the exact timeline of how it went down, is I kind of relate this a little bit to what happened at Illinois, where Illinois had new AD come in. You had Josh Widmer come in. He was hired on February 17th of 2016. And we talked about on the Primetime Podcast before that there was, and he had kind of the connections with, because Mike Thomas was before that, but when Illinois fired Tim Beckman, they had Bill Cubitt come in. When they didn't let Bill Cubitt continue on, who did Josh Widmer bring in to be his guy? He had a guy lined up. He's there right now. They had Lovie Smith. They had the targeted guy that they brought in. Illinois said, we are going in a different direction. They brought in Lovie Smith. Minnesota right now, it seems like they don't have that guy. And this is where I'm going to turn it on you. I know that I emailed you today. I'm looking at it right now. A article from thedailygopher.com, which is the SB Nation Minnesota website. I'm going to put you in the AD. You are now congratulations, Brandon. You're the AD of the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Who are you looking at? Who's your number one candidate that you are contacting for the head coaching job?
Well, Ricky, in all honesty, any of the candidates that I would have wanted to go get are gone. They're gone.
They're all gone.
They're gone. And I think that that's one of the downfalls of right now what you're doing. Your top candidate, your number 2 candidate, your number 3 candidate, they are all gone. So, Ricky, right now, are you desperately, I don't mean to bring him up again, but are you desperately saying, hey, Chip Kelly, we know you did pretty well in college. You want to come be our coach? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well,
but would you say it? I mean, I understand there's other guys that could probably fill the void and do a good job, but is it too ridiculous because of the situation that they're in right now? Tom Herman is gone. Charlie Strong is gone. Lane Kiffin is gone. All these guys are gone, and they're in other jobs. They're coordinators. They're head coaches. Who are you going for?
Well, and before I answer your question, I do want to say, just to clear everything up, because I had to say the timeline that I gave out, not really the best, was the Illinois comparison that I went with. Widmer was hired February of 2016. Bill Cubit had just done his interim season in 2015. In March, he was told he was no longer going to be the head coach, and like a week or two later, boom, Lovie Smith hired as the head coach. So that was more the timeline. So Widmer did come in, got rid of Cubit, brought in Lovie. But to me, the guy I'm going with is, first off, I wanted to say Chip Kelly, because to me, that's almost the same thing that Illinois did. Illinois bringing in an NFL guy and also a guy who knows Chicago. Chip Kelly's not a Minnesota guy, but it's one of those things where you look at it and you go, he's an NFL experienced coach, and he was a really good college coach. So I look at him. The other name I kind of look at, and I mean,
don't say it.
Who do you think I'm going to say?
Les Miles.
No.
Okay.
I'm not even going to say.
I thought you were going to say it because he's the other hot name
that
would be out there.
No. I'll give you a hint. You ready for it? Rowed a boat. PJ Fleck. Go get the guy from Western Michigan. Give him a shot, because it's one of those things where he did great things with Western Michigan this year. That's a guy that could come in and get this program hopefully on track to win some games.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll tell you, I thought you were going to go Les Miles there, so I was kind of taken off.
No, Les wouldn't take that job.
Off guard.
Les wouldn't take it.
No chance that he would take that job.
Chip might be desperate enough.
All of his options are open. But PJ Fleck, that could be interesting. But again, I don't know. In all honesty, I think that he may want to have another year at Western Michigan, see what he can do with them, see if he can get them any closer
get a better job opportunity
to getting in the playoffs, and then, again, a better job opportunity. But, Ricky, one thing I want to go back to, I understand, we usually do the whole, okay, who would you take in the job position and stuff like that, but it's killing me right now, the fact that Claeys is gone. And you gave a timeline and everything, but let's talk about the real reason why he's gone. It's not because 10 players, were protesting. It's because 10 players faced punishment for varying levels of alleged sexual misconduct. And players did not believe that due process was done correctly, that things were going the right way or being done the right way in the legal system. They did not feel, and Claeys did not feel, that his guys were being treated the right way and were being treated to a fair legal process. He tweeted, he stood up for his players, and I think that shows a head coach that stands with his players. I don't think that that's saying that he's okay with sexual assault or abuse or anything like that. What is even worse would be a coach that steps back and sets himself away from his players, those 10 players. He wants to get away from those 10 players. Not knowing yes or no, if they did it and didn't do it, he just doesn't want to be associated with them. That's not a coach. As a father, would you want to be associated with your kids and stand next to your kids and be there for them going through that process, not knowing if they did it or did not do it, especially when you're not getting a fair legal process? Or are you going to say, you're on your own for this one because I taught you to be one way. This isn't it. I understand that things may not be playing out the way that they should be legally, but I don't want to be part of this. So you just step away. As a coach, you're a father figure. You are supposed to stand up for your children, your kids, your boys. You're supposed to do that. And when it happens that, yes, this is something that they did, you say, you know what? This is wrong. There's going to be penalties. There's going to be suspensions. There could be you being kicked off the team. But for the fact that he's going to get fired for Minnesota having, let's see here. Oh, the victory total is the second most in a season for Minnesota since 1905. Do you remember 1905, Ricky? I don't.
No, I don't.
Wasn't alive.
I wasn't alive.
Wasn't alive. But you're going to fire a guy as a rookie AD. A rookie AD doesn't know what he's doing.
Like you said, it was a rash decision. And it was one of those where I feel like it was, oh shit, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? You're fired. Oh, fuck, I shouldn't have done that. It's kind of like when you don't know what to do in a video game and you got a choice to make and you see that little like timer going down and you're like, what do I pick? And you pick one and then you go, fuck, I didn't want to do that. I want to do the other one. And then you constantly just regret your decision.
And let me give you another quote from Claeys. Quote, our team GPA is above a 3.0, has been 6 the last 7 semesters. Our graduation rate is as high as it's been since they started keeping it. Same with the APR, the academic progress rate, to be the highest public school in the country. Not only are we getting better on the football field, the kids are going to class and graduating, end quote. Claeys was running a very, very reputable program on and off the field. Mm-hmm. And this is not something you cannot, as we saw with Ben McAdoo, you cannot control what your guys do on their time away. You can't always do it as much as you would like to. You can't. They are grown men. They are grown men. They can do what they want to do with their time off and away from the field, away from practice and things like that. But for you to let go of your job because you stood with your players, because you outwardly were outspoken in favor of your players and wanting to stand behind them and being appreciative of their efforts of protesting for something that they believed in, something that they believed was not right, and they do it. I mean, I guess, again, you can believe in protesting, you can believe it's stupid, you can believe it gets you nowhere, you can believe it's really good and people should do it. Either way, you have a right to do it. And basically, the AD here is saying, no, that's I don't agree with that, so that's wrong. You stood up for them, so can't have you on as part of the team. We're just going to redo this process. I'm sorry, Ricky. I probably have gone on too much about this. Very passionate on this one. It's just ridiculous. I think this AD should be canned.
Well, and this is where I'm looking at the timer, and this is where I'm going to kind of flip it on to the listeners out there to let us know what they think about everything that we talked about in Minnesota. What do you think about the situation with Claeys getting fired? Do you agree with Brandon where I believe you said you slipped it in there at the end that the AD Coyle should be fired himself? And then also, Minnesota fans, let us know, who do you want to become your next head coach? Well, thank you guys for checking out this video from the Primetime Podcast. If you want to check out more, click right over here. The video's right over here. Check it out. Check it out.